I'm sorry to inform you that your son has been killed, sir.
What? What do you mean?
Because of a sudden phone call, I left my gathering with friends. I traveled alone to France, 7,000 kilometers away. Sitting on the train, I still held on to a sliver of hope. Maybe the police made a mistake. Maybe that wasn't my son at all. Until the sheriff drove himself to pick me up, until I stood before the morgue, until I saw my son's body with my own eyes, I finally understood the harsh reality. At 60, I had become a parent bearing a child. I hadn't seen my son for some time. I never imagined our reunion would feel so cold. I couldn't understand why he would be alone so far from home. The sheriff brought my son's luggage and explained he ran into trouble on the pilgrimage.
What happened?
It was an accident. The weather in the Pyrenees is famous for being unpredictable, and I'm sure Daniel would have been warned by the locals.
I didn't know why he chose this path, but the shell on his backpack reminded me. He called himself Joost, assuming I was a pilgrim. He kindly warned me.
Well, it's not for everyone, you know. In fact, somebody died on the Camino this week. Only one day into the trek. Yeah, it's such a tragedy.
I wasn't in the mood to respond. I just said I wasn't a pilgrim and moved away. At night, going through my son's backpack, I wanted to know why he chose this pilgrimage. His words echoed in my mind, repeating over and over.
Forget your golf clubs. Come on, a father-son trip. It'll be fun.
Looking at these belongings, I seemed to feel my son's will, so I got up and knocked on the sheriff's door. I decided to cremate my son. Seeing the determination in my eyes, the sheriff didn't hesitate. At that moment, holding the box lightly, I felt his presence. I told the sheriff I would carry on my son's will, use his backpack and gear, and complete the pilgrimage.
And no disrespect, you're more than 60 years old.
So it'll take me a bit longer than most.
You'll be lucky if you finish in 2 months.
Then I better get started. We're leaving in the morning.
Placing my son into the backpack, just as he once said, I almost forgot when I last traveled. Before leaving, the sheriff gave me a stone, saying it would be useful at the journey's end. With my son, I set out. This time, I would walk the path he had always wanted. I am an eye doctor. Life is steady, never luxurious. My son grew up without want, but I could not understand why he would leave security behind and walk this difficult road alone. After walking for who knows how long, I stopped on a hillside. Looking at the cross standing on the ground, I knew this was the first stop, the place my son ran into trouble. Turning back, he seemed to wave at me from nearby. I opened the box and gently scattered his ashes, recalling the last time I saw him.
When you coming back? I don't know.
So you don't have a plan?
We agreed that if I let you take me to the airport, you wouldn't lecture me about how I'm ruining my life.
I lied. You know, most people don't have the luxury of just picking up and leaving it all behind, Daniel.
Well, I'm not most people. If I don't have your blessing, that's fine. But don't judge this. Don't judge me.
I realized that since my wife passed away, my son and I had grown distant. Perhaps it was the lack of father-son connection, or maybe he truly yearned for freedom, but it was too late for anything. Now, the only thing I could do was keep moving forward. I didn't reach the town until dusk. Only a pilgrim lodge remained. Cheap, all dormitory-style rooms. I carefully climbed onto the bed, afraid of disturbing others. The snoring, coughing, and teeth grinding never stopped. The clean comfort I was used to was gone. My mind full of thoughts of my son, I couldn't sleep. Frustrated, I suddenly looked up and saw Joe sleeping next door.
Did the old woman feed you? Well, you're lucky. The meal is as grim as the beds. Yeah, have this. No, I can't take your food. Yeah, you can.
Joe generously shared his food and even brought earplugs and sleeping pills. I finally slept peacefully. Early the next morning, all pilgrims packed their bags and resumed the journey. The innkeeper stamped my passport. Single travel became double. Following the map from Roncesvalles, we walked toward Pamplona, covering 44 kilometers along the way. During this, Joost was silently impressed. I was walking this path with my son. Soon, we reached the second stop. I decided to stay here overnight. Joost continued on. We parted at a fork in the road. The inn was already full of guests. Everyone sat together for lunch. I felt a little out of place. Luckily, the innkeeper was friendly. Everyone was a pilgrim, making me feel accepted. As we talked and laughed, I looked up and saw my son's figure among the crowd. Maybe this was a life he wanted to experience. The next morning, I said goodbye to the pilgrims from yesterday. I sped up, canceling my schedule for the next month. While I still could walk, I wanted to finish the pilgrimage as fast as possible. If tired, I would rest. Occasionally pause to enjoy the scenery. Crossing a stone bridge, I was exhausted. Leaning on the railing, my backpack floated downstream. I jumped in, swimming with all my strength. Grabbing a bush in the river, I barely saved the backpack. Collapsed from exhaustion. Darkness fell. I decided to camp by the river overnight. For some reason, I couldn't stop laughing. It had been ages since I felt this adventurous. The thrill made me feel young again. I slept until morning, until passing pilgrims woke me up. The journey was still long. I followed the flow of people, arriving at the second city. By chance, I met Joost again. Joost was tasting Spanish roasted meat. We walked together around the corner, we found a woman, Sarah. She preferred not to walk alone and joined us. 2 became 3. The group grew. I kept walking in front, sometimes a small hill apart from her. She was annoyed, not knowing I had a reason. I had to complete this journey for my son. We soon reached the next stop. People in the church shared drinks and joy. I gradually adapted to this life. No longer needed sleeping pills or earplugs to sleep. With morning light, we set out again. Under the blazing sun, resting on a haystack, I noticed a strange man, waving a stick in frustration. Luckily, it fell at my feet. He immediately apologized. He was a writer, looking for inspiration on this pilgrimage. His phone full of editor reminders. I didn't stop long, moved on. The writer followed. 3 became 4. I continued carefully scattering my son's ashes. The writer was curious. Jost accidentally revealed the secret. An old father walking with his son's ashes. The writer quickly took notes. Sarah remained unaware. Unable to find a hotel at night, we camped. I woke from sleep. Everyone else was gone. As I packed, Sarah came out, curious why I was on pilgrimage.
What are you doing out here, Tom, besides taking a really long walk?
Why do you care?
Just told me you were a doctor?
Yeah,
What do you practice?
I'm an ophthalmologist.
An eye doctor.
Everyone walking his path had unspoken past and pain. They all wanted to forget. Resting in a restaurant, Sarah wanted to apologize. I said it was unnecessary. A few strong drinks. My emotions flared. I remember my son's death. The writer babbled on. I felt only noise.
Christ,
I beg your pardon?
an arrogant bore. You're not one of us. You think you're better than us because you're writing a book.
Repressed emotions exploded with the alcohol. I usually view the world as a doctor, rationally. At this moment, I yelled and shouted as if releasing all my frustrations. The police took me to the station to reflect. Sober, I couldn't believe my earlier behavior. In a daze, I saw my son again. The next second, he disappeared. Eventually, the writer helped bail me out. I expressed sincere gratitude. After venting all frustrations, I felt lighter on my feet. Perhaps from this moment, the pilgrimage truly belonged to me.
I intend to reimburse you.
You agreed to letting me use the story in my book. We can call it even.
Not a chance.
Well, I can still include it anyway. Change the names.
My friends, my patients, they're going to read your book. Get the wrong impression of me.
What was your son like?
Daniel's story's got nothing to do with any deal.
I have to explain why you're out in the Camino, Tom. You can't just introduce some crazy drunk American into the narrative without giving him purpose.
Crazy drunk American, thanks. Daniel was a lot like you.
I finally opened my heart, describing my memories of my son to the writer. Jost and Sarah laughed too. Soon, we reached the next city, meeting other pilgrims on the road, feeling like old friends. But I noticed a thief had taken my backpack, which contained my son's ashes. We chased hard, finally stopping in an alley. The 4 of us left disappointed. I had no reason to continue, planned to fly home the next day. At that moment, a man named Billy entered the bar. A boy behind him held my backpack. The boy was Billy's son. I checked my son's ashes. Billy took off his hat, offering sincere apologies.
I wish to extend an invitation to you and your friends to be my guests at my home this evening. I insist. It will be an intimate gathering. You will not be disappointed by the food or the company.
He invited us to a bonfire gathering that night. The 4 of us didn't ruin the mood, danced with the gypsies. Billy told me.
Of course, you are taking your son's remains to Shia.
No. Autumn leaves turned yellow. The 4 of us continued. Unconsciously, we became friends. We saw more devout pilgrims along the way. I gradually integrated into the team, no longer alone. In the last 300 kilometers of the journey, we stopped in front of a large hotel.
Nah, no self-respecting pilgrim in the Camino would ever stay in a parrot, or the decadence of it is absolutely appalling.
My treat.
Really? For all of us?
Everyone was satisfied. Sarah enjoyed a manicure. Jost ate heartily. The writer organized materials. Night fell. Knocks on the door never stopped. Sarah, Jost, and the writer came one by one. We shared a drink, just enjoying the rare moment. Approaching a pile of stones, the journey was nearly over. The stone the sheriff gave me at the start now served its purpose.
Dear Lord, may this stone, a symbol of my efforts on the pilgrimage that I lay at the feet of the cross of the Savior, weigh the balance in favor of my good deeds that day, when the deeds of all my life are judged. Let it be so. Amen.
People threw away past regrets, anger, and frustration, saying goodbye to the past, starting a new life. I continued scattering my son's ashes. My companions paid respect. I gradually accepted my son's passing.
Jack, you write whatever you want about all this. What you saw, how you felt, you write it like it happened. You write the truth.
Staff stamped the final page on the passport, issuing the pilgrimage certificate. I wrote my son's name. We arrived at Santiago Cathedral. In front of the glory porch, following tradition, Sarah placed her hand on the statue, setting down her cigarette case. The writer and I did the same. Jost knelt devoutly, slowly approaching the statue. Incense filled the air. For a moment, I seemed to see my son waving at me in the crowd as if he had never left. Watching the crowd flow by, we understood each other. The four of us continued, heading toward Moxia, mentioned by Billy. That was the true end. Only the vast sea remained. The three made their wishes and left. I remained alone, staring at the ocean.